Hello guys, welcome back to A7 Engineering YouTube channel. Please subscribe our channel for daily 7 engineering videos. Today's our lecture is about the difference between the one-way slab and the two-way slab. The slab is a flexural member, is like the beam and used to take the load and transfer it to the below structure, while slab is mostly used as a floor. So we can see here this is a slab. Similarly here this is a slab which is used as a floor, and this slab is mostly supported by the reinforced concrete columns. As you can see here, these pillars are the vertical members, they are mostly taken by the masonry wall or the reinforced concrete wall. So it depends on the designer that how they support the slab. But we have two main types of the slab here, where we are going to differentiate between these two types of the slab. One is the one-way slab and the other one is the two-way slab. As the name shows that it is a one-way, it means that it bends dominantly in one direction, while the two-way slab shows that it bends equally in both the direction. We can see here that this is a one direction of the slab, this long direction, and this is another direction of a slab. So if we name this direction is, let's suppose this is represented by L and this is a longer span, or the represented by L, and this is, let's suppose, the shorter direction of the slab and represented by S. Similarly, let's suppose this direction is represented by L and this direction is represented by S. So in this case, this length or the L, we can see that this dimension is larger than this dimension. So by how much? If the longer, this is the first differentiation, if the longer span to the shorter span ratio is greater or equal to 2, then we call such type of slab is one-way slab. Because such type of slab will dominantly bend in one direction, then we will call as a one-way slab, because it bends dominantly in one direction. While in this case, where we have the longer span to the shorter span ratio is less than 2, so in this case the slab will shorter span, in this case the slab will bend equally or almost similarly in both the direction. So such type of slab will be called as the two-way slab. Now let's suppose that this ratio L is, let's suppose, is 12 meter, this dimension, and this S is 4 meter. So if I take the longer span, which is L here 12 meter, dividing by the shorter span, which is S is 4 meter here, so if we divide these two, we got 3, which is greater than the 2 or equal to 2. So 3 is greater than the 2. So it means that this is a one-way slab. In this case, if we take, let's suppose this is a 4 meter length and the shorter span is, let's suppose, also 4 meter. So if we divide these two, 4 meter divided by 4, we got 1. So it means the ratio 1 is less than 2. So it will be a two-way slab. So it depends on the ratio of their longer span to the shorter span, or the one span to the another span. So it mainly depends on the ratio. And due to this ratio, it bends in either one way or bends in the two way. So the second difference is that this type of slab, one-way slab, bends in shorter direction. It bends dominantly in the shorter direction. If we look into such slab, so it will dominantly bends in the shorter direction in this way, while it will show very less deflection or very less bending in the longer direction. So it will mostly bends in the shorter direction. While in case of the two-way slab, it will bends equally, bends in both directions. And we have to design the reinforcement as a main reinforcement. In such case, the reinforcement will be provided equally in both the direction. While in such case, one-way slab, the main reinforcement will be provided only in one direction because it bends dominantly in one direction, in the shorter direction, while it bends in both the direction. If we look to this slab, so it will bend also in this direction similarly as well as in this direction, because the dimensions are the same, are almost same, because they are always less than 2. Now the third difference is, if we look to the reinforcement, let's suppose this is the slab, this is the one-way slab. So the main reinforcement will be provided in the shorter direction because it bends dominantly in the short direction. So this is the short direction, this is short direction, and this is the longer direction. So the main reinforcement will be provided in the shorter direction. This will be the main reinforcement because it bends higher in shorter direction as compared to the longer direction. This will be the main reinforcement provided. So you should provide the main reinforcement in such case in the shorter direction, while in the longer direction we will also have reinforcement, but this reinforcement will be a distribution reinforcement, or we can call the temperature reinforcement. This will be distribution reinforcement or distribution bars, distribution reinforcement. And this reinforcement is used in order to avoid the thermal stresses. So the main reinforcement will always be provided in the shorter direction in order to take the main load. In such case, in the two-way slab, if we draw the two-way slab here, let's suppose they have almost similar dimension. So in this case, the main reinforcement are provided in both the direction. The designer should take care that the main reinforcement is provided in both the L direction and the S direction. So this is the main reinforcement, and also the main reinforcement should be provided also in the another direction. So these both are the main reinforcement. So these were the main differences, that why we differentiate between the two types of the slab, the one-way slab and the two-way slab. Mainly depends on their ratio, that if the ratio of the longest to shorter span is greater than or equal to 0, it will be called as one-way slab, and if the ratio is less than 2, we call as the two-way slab. And also that it should be mostly bends or dominantly bends in one direction, while such slab will bend equally or almost equally in both the direction. And the reinforcement should be considered that the main reinforcement should be provided in the shorter direction in case of the one-way slab, while in case of the two-way slab, in both the direction, it should be taken into account that main reinforcement should be provided in both the direction. So the spacing will be equally in both the direction in case of the two-way slab, while in case of the one-way slab, the distributed bars will be provided in the longer direction, which are mostly in the long space, or we can say the distance between the two bars of the distributed bars are mostly higher than the main reinforcement bars. Hope you guys understand, and don't forget to subscribe our channel for daily civil engineering videos. Thank you for watching our video.